So looking into the future with 2024 and our brand new outlook of what we're going to be getting, it's kind of crazy how this is going to be something very different than what we've gotten before. We look deeply at that promotional art, that poster that we got for Transformers Legacy United. We look at all the listings that we got thus far that have gone out for all the multiple waves and the sublines. And there's a clear indication that something is going to be happening that has not happened before in the near 20 years that this classic flavored kind of line has existed. Classics, Universe, Generations, Henkei, whatever you want to call it. The less classy like to call it Chug, but whatever you would want to call it, this classic flavored kind of line, started in 2006. In 2026, it's going to be 20th anniversary for that. And in the near 20 years that it's been around, it's always been very Generation 1 leaning. It's always been like that. But for the first time, we're going to see something that is going to be very lacking in Generation 1. Very much so celebrating the true 40th anniversary of the Transformer line and everything that has come before and after. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. I mean, across the 41 figures that are supposed to be in this line that we've seen thus far for the 4 waves that we know about, the Buzzworthy Bumblebee stuff, and the Starseeker Walmart exclusive subline. Obviously, there will be more later on, but from what we know thus far, of the 41 figures, only 7 of them are Generation 1 in origin. That's crazy. That's only 16% of the entire line, the lowest that it has ever been. I mean, that's nuts. That's nuts when you think about it. You look at that poster, like I said, and no one on that poster is Generation 1 in origin. Everyone is from everywhere else. So that's pretty crazy when you think about it. And I mean, when you even look at stuff like, let's say, a Beast Wars year. Let's talk about like Kingdom. When we had Kingdom, of those 52 figures of the Kingdom branded line, 26 of them were Generation 1 related. Nearly half of the line for something that was supposed to be a Beast Wars celebration. Half of it was still Generation 1 related. Even in a Beast Wars year like the Rise of the Beast year. I mean, we got stuff with Core Class Dinobots and Diaclone nods. Like, it was all over the place with Generation 1 flavor. But this year, not this year, but next year coming up, in 2024, we're going to only have, at least up to this point, only 7 Generation 1 characters. That's crazy. Our Commander class, which has historically been Generation 1 in origin, is going to have something that comes from Beast Wars. Our Titan class, which most of the time, except for 1 or 2 occasions, has been Generation 1 in origin, also not going to be in this case. In this case, it'll be something from the Unicron trilogy and Armada. It's wild to think about how in 2024 we're going to have something that is so not Generation 1 rated. In fact, when you look at the entire spread of things across Transformers Legacy United and what we know thus far, 2 of them are Generation 2, 6 of them are Beast Wars, 1 of them is Robots in Disguise, 7 of them are Unicron Trilogy, 2 being Armada, 2 being Energon, and 3 being Cybertron. 3 of them are animated related, 5 of them are from the aligned continuity, so 2 of them are Transformer Prime, 1 is Rescue Bots, and 2 are Robots in Disguise 2015, 3 Cyberverse ones, and 6 of them are of that new rock kind of thing, which you could say Rock Lords, but it's the Armorizers, the Infernax, so that's Inhumanoids also. But only 7 are Generation 1. Now, granted, if there's only 7 that are Generation 1 up to this point, it's still the most representation because, Unicron Trilogy, there's also 7, so they're tied, which says a lot about what the market is right now and what people want. But it's wild when you think about it. So, like, all we're going to be really seeing, we're going to be seeing some kind of Generation 1 Sure Shot for Deluxe Class, some kind of Generation 1 Gears in Deluxe Class, some kind of Leader Class Generation 1 Sandstorm, and then we're going to get some kind of Deluxe Class G1 Optimus Prime, maybe a 40th anniversary product, a Deluxe Class Generation 1 Target Master Quake, and then we're going to get some kind of Leader Class Soundwave. We don't know what its origin is, but the expectation is it's probably going to be Generation 1. And then in Buzzworthy, we do know that we're getting an Origins Wheeljack, so that goes to More to Meets the Eye G1 episode, Origin kind of stuff. So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy when you think about it, all of that stuff. So if you're someone who's not a big fan of Generation 1, you kind of like everything else that's in Transformers, 2024 and Legacy United is going to be your year. If you're someone like me that has been collecting since literally the beginning and has had their fix with all of these Generation 1 characters and wants something fresh, again, Legacy United is going to be your jam. If you're someone who really just loves 84, 85, 86 G1, then you might get a few pieces here and there, but I also must say you're probably going to be saving money on your wallet. So that's some pretty good stuff too, at least for you in that case. But it's pretty wild when you think about it. And it's just when we take a step back and see how things are changing and how Transformers is one of those brands that there's always something new, always something fresh year to year, and it keeps growing and evolving. And the fans that, grow up with this brand, they all have, like I want to call, their version of G1. Some grew up with G1. Some grew up with G2. Some grew up with Beast Wars. Some grew up with the Unicron trilogy. Some of them got into it with the movies. Some of them got into it only recently, maybe with Cyberverse, maybe with Rescue Bots. So there's always something that brings Transformers in, and it's always such a different facet and face for those fans. Anyways, pretty wild stuff. Just wanted to kind of talk about that for a bit because it's such an interesting revelation. Let me know what you think. Are you down for this? Lack of G1, more of everything else? Or are you a G1 guy that's like, well, at least I could save money this year. There's less that I need to look at. And maybe I'll look at Studio Series, or maybe I'll look at Masterpiece instead, and I'll get my G1 fix there, which honestly, that will be the case for a lot of people. But let me know what you think. Very fascinating. And we'll talk again very soon here on the Transformer Slag Podcast.